What is your ethnic and religious background? Your parents, did they immigrate to America?
Well, for my ethnic background, it's actually a blend. My father's side comes mostly from the Philippines, and my mom is from Holland. So I guess we're a Caucasian family. As far as for religious background, I was raised in a Protestant home, but as I became an adult, then I actually chose Islam as my religion. Um, my parents are uh, my parents are Christian, not really practicing Christians, but they do believe very much in God.
And to follow up, when and why did you convert to Islam? Uh,
When I was actually a young adult, when I went to the University of Milwaukee, I had the opportunity to meet individuals. I did meet Muslim students, and I became really intrigued to finally look at religion.
do you recall the year?
There was like the early '80s, so I just had the chance to just really take a real serious, honest look at religion. I always believed in God. I had a lot of questions about Christianity, and I just began a very honest, intense religious research, and it led me to following Islam.
What is your ethnic and religious background? Your parents, did they immigrate to America?
Well, for my ethnic background, it's actually a blend. My father's side comes mostly from the Philippines, and my mom is from Holland. So I guess we're a Caucasian family. As far as for religious background, I was raised in a Protestant home, but as I became an adult, then I actually chose Islam as my religion. Um, my parents are uh, my parents are Christian, not really practicing Christians, but they do believe very much in God.
And to follow up, when and why did you convert to Islam? Uh,
When I was actually a young adult, when I went to the University of Milwaukee, I had the opportunity to meet individuals. I did meet Muslim students, and I became really intrigued to finally look at religion.
do you recall the year?
There was like the early '80s, so just had the chance to just really take a real serious, honest look at religion. I always believed in God. I had a lot of questions about Christianity, and I just began a very honest, intense religious research, and it led me to following Islam.
When did you establish your roots in the Muslim community here in Milwaukee? Um, did it come from like a person telling you, or did you just kind of like hear about it on your own?
No, actually, actually, I again, as I was studying religion, then I chose Islam as a religion, and I started having children, and that in the early '90s is when Salam School became established, and I put my daughter there. And about a couple years later, I became really involved with the school, with helping with teaching, and I have been there ever since. Very active member of Salam School, and also part of the Islamic Society of Milwaukee.
So, how would you describe Slam School in one word, and why would you use that word?
Um, I would say very progressive. The school just received yesterday a full reaccreditation from two outstanding organizations here in the United States. Our school is less than 25 years old, especially our particular high school is about 7 or 8 years old and doing absolutely fantastic. Um, and as far as for ISM, very, very strong outreach programs, highly active Muslim community center. We have different lectures and things like that. Different people have come from all over the country and from the world. And actually, other Islamic centers in the United States have complimented how active the ISM is with educating its own community and the greater Milwaukee community.
So, would you say that's how their ideas were from the beginning, or would you say after they progressed since the '80s, since its birth? would you say that they slowly developed those fundamentals of
Yeah, I would actually
providing?
I would say that when the Muslim community was pretty small in the 80s, and then now it's expanding considerably. We have like small satellite masjids or mosques way outside of the Milwaukee area, like outside in Waukesha and further towards Menominee Falls, and it's just we now have I believe 5 or 6 centers, smaller centers that actually branched out from the main ISM on 13th and Layton, and it just became more greater community needs as different variety of Muslims came. So we do have quite a different nationalities that actually go to the ISM, and also because of events going on in the world, the individuals at ISM and basically the active community members felt it was extremely important to reach out to the non-Muslim community to show them that we're very kind, respectful, very hardworking community, and unfortunately, the very sad events in the world do not define the Muslims in general.
So to go more towards the ISM portion, would you agree with the statement that the ISM provides a promising future for new residents and immigrants, even people that are non-Muslim? You have a reason why, if you agree?
Oh, yes, actually, definitely. Over the years, I've actually been involved with ISM/Salam School. I've seen very different type of people immigrating to Milwaukee from like from say Somalia, from Iraq. No, there's Syrian. Before that, there was people from Burma. So the word is actually like the word apparently must be getting around that Milwaukee is a very very nice, active community, very welcoming to Syrians. There's usually like either clothing drives or there's um, some type of drive to help to get people established with just the things that they need for basic apartments and things like that. So the school and ISM are actually very very active in that. And also because we do have a full-time Islamic school, people from the United States are actually moving to Milwaukee just because of that.
And there are reports of a larger arrival of new immigrants from Syria and Burma. Um, and we can assume that you have first-hand experience with the children that come with these families
Yes.
because they attend the Islamic school. And to follow up with that question, are the benefits of coming to Milwaukee greater than, say, another city, or would you could
I'm
you
not.
support
I'm not
that?
sure about going like to other cities. I think that kind of like the word just gets around that Milwaukee is a very very nice. It's like a small city. I mean, the people of Milwaukee are extremely nice. We've had many open houses through ISM. Very excellent turnout. People are very curious. Probably every single week there's some interfaith program that's going on, and people from either the ISM or from the Milwaukee Muslim Women's Coalition are always asking for individuals to come and be part of the audience to just one-on-one get to meet your neighbor, share what's the differences, what's going on like in the world, and just show like commonalities between the different religions, between just the different people. It's very beneficial, and people actually bring their children, and more and more families are really would like to put their kids in Salam school, but if there's a language barrier, then they're recommended to like either go to a public school for a couple of years, and then the students then come back.
But they're still
You
under
know.
the supervision of the ISM.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And how would you describe the progress of the community surrounding the ISM? This includes like infrastructure, commercial, residential, and people. Just recently, we did a time lapse using different photos taken from Google Maps, and it shows these new commercial buildings popping up along the 13th Street strip. And we assumed that it was because those buildings also came after the arrival of the ISM. Would you agree that the ISM, the Islamic Society of Milwaukee, has that potential to completely prosper the area, more or less?
Well, I do recall that the building that they're located on 13th and Layton was just a very small public school. I think it was a Catholic school at one time. It was a small school that was for sale, and in the early 80s it was purchased just to become like the first Islamic Center was a very nice location, being on the south side, by the airport. It's a very nice neighborhood. And as far as for expansion, I mean, I know ISM is expanding because the community is growing considerably, and the area around it, it's a nice side of town to be a part of. I can see the ISM continuing to prosper on that side of town.
And are there any future developments for the ISM? Like, do you know any of them? Or because I know we found out that they built recently an elementary school that was a vacant building just down the road from
Yes.
the main building. So, is there anything in the area potentially?
Well, the land directly behind or west of the ISM/Salam school was actually purchased by the ISM, and that's because the problem that we have always is with parking. During the fasting month, the place is just packed, and it becomes a problem actually with parking. But that's only one time a month. So the land behind that has been is going to be expanded into making like a big parking lot. But eventually, the school itself is going to be expanded, and then about 5 blocks south of ISM, they just purchased a parcel or a small bit of land which has actually an existing building which can be converted into the new middle school.
Do you believe the ISM is connected to the greater Milwaukee area? Perhaps even on a national scale. We're reading reports how we actually researched that 5 major transit routes run through the area, including the highway, which was just recently renovated, which we can both assume that it is possibly for the influx with the population in the area. What's your comments on that?
I mean, as far as for like the ISM being like a really important part of the Milwaukee area that it's in, yeah, absolutely. I mean, the ISM has grown considerably since the 80s. As the community is growing, there's more programs, there's more businesses that have popped up, all the way from clothing to food to a medical facility that's attached to the elementary school. And of course, the clinic, all these businesses are also open to non-Muslims. So the goods and services are provided for everyone. And as far as for like providing or opportunity, it's become an extremely very purposeful part of the greater Milwaukee area. As far as for, again, like for outreach programs for businesses, things like that. Absolutely, it's definitely very positive part of the scene of Milwaukee.
So, our questions were based on our theory, one more of a perception of the Islamic Society of Milwaukee. We suggest that it resembles a beacon of hope. We've driven past it at night where it has a green light shining through its minaret. Would you agree that it does suggest a beacon of hope for the community around it and its neighbors, and for new immigrants that come to America seeking assistance from their we'll say the refugees, coming from a very riddled, war-torn country such as Syria and a very economically poor country such as Burma or Somalia? Do you feel like it's fulfilled that objective since its birth in 1982? What are your thoughts?
Yes, actually, I would definitely say that. And here we are. We're in a very small, a very small city of Milwaukee. Milwaukee is very unique as far as being like a large, very
Melting pot.
yeah, actually like that. It's Milwaukee's a very nice place actually to come and visit. I've actually had met students that came from other countries to go to the universities, and they actually like to come back to Milwaukee for like vacations. They just like kind of like that larger family type of environment. Milwaukee is actually a very, very family oriented, very family positive city, and the ISM is actually has a very strong outreach program, which is really nice. I mean, we have individuals from not only just from Milwaukee, but from like Waukesha and on out that actually like to come into, to come and either like learn about Islam or just to come and meet new people, things like that. And there are people as far out as again, like, west and north of Milwaukee that know the invitation, especially like for interfaith programs to come in. And also because the Muslim community here is very, very active as far as for helping other people other than just the Muslims. So people are moving here from around the country and from around the world. They come to Milwaukee because there's a very tight-knit Muslim community that understands its obligation to help not only fellow Muslims but also non-Muslims as well.
You feel like it's a calming effect when a new person that gets off a plane from Milwaukee sees the minaret from the distance? Do you feel like it gives them it gives them like this almost godlike, you know,
Well,
experience?
especially for immigrants, they know that there's a very strong brotherhood and sisterhood in Islam. We have an obligation to help each other, again, not just Muslims but also non-Muslims as well. So if you have a very strong, active, just a very proactive Muslim leadership in the city of Milwaukee, it draws people to come in because you see that the Muslims are very active as far as for working within our own families and with
Community.
with the community at large. I know that even after events that have gone on in the world, especially like after September 11th, there are non-Muslim neighbors that said, we've never had problems with you. If there's anything that you need, we're here to protect you and things like that. So when you have a very active community, again, we're a small city with a outstanding Islamic full-time Islamic school for a small city. Again, that's very welcoming for different families.
Do you have any closing statements? Would you suggest inviting people to come see the ISM? Non-Muslims more. Would you say are doors open? Are doors open 24/7 for them?
The doors are always open. Actually, probably on a weekly basis, we have individuals that come to visit, either from either small church groups or from universities or smaller high schools, and we've had families come in. We've had schools all over actually the state of Wisconsin make the drive into Milwaukee to come and ask questions about Islam. They actually take a tour of the school. Yes, I invite anyone. People like to just see what their neighbors are like, what their Muslim neighbors are like, and so we can just keep the community growing stronger.
Thank you
Yeah, thank
for
you.
your time.
Thank you.